Okay guys, Kelly commentates here. It's time for another episode of Skate to the Point. This is Unfiltered Ice Chat number 6. We are going to preview the Cup of China at the end of the podcast, and then we're going to talk about who made the Grand Prix final already as well. But before we get to that, the Finlandia Trophy 2024 is officially over and done. It was a good competition. What I kind of liked is that some of the heavy hitters were not there, and I didn't like that. But for example, because Isabella Vito and Luna Hendricks withdrew, as did Junhua Cha, he didn't make the free skate, which is sad as well. We'll get to that in a minute. Because of that, though, I really felt like it created some openings for other skaters that maybe wouldn't have been there before if the other heavy hitters were there. So for example, Laura Naki-Gutman, she got third place here, getting a bronze medal, and I do believe it is her first Grand Prix medal ever. That was so exciting. I mean, she's someone that really stood out to me and who I hadn't really been paying attention to before, prior to this season. So for her to get up there, get a medal, I just think that was so exciting. It was also kind of a surprise win with Hana Yoshida. She was able to squeak it out against Rino Matsuke, barely. I mean, it was by tenths of a point. So I just think that was kind of a nail biter. It definitely made for an interesting competition. The men's event, though, you guys, I think it's Mark Henretti who says the men were menning. Oh my goodness, you guys. It's just... At every event, I never know what version we're going to get. Are we going to hit the jumps this time? Are we not going to? Is someone going to melt down? Is someone going to have a wonderful short program and then melt down in the free skate? I mean, you just never know what's going to happen. And I mean, proof of this is I think Andrew Torgashev of the US is going to make the Grand Prix final. I'm pretty sure. We'll get to that next. But it's just crazy. And even though the podium itself was what I expected, more or less, the scores were so low. I mean, we have guys who can get 300 plus getting 264, So it's just really interesting. As an aside, you guys, and I'm not really going to get into it, but there is controversy regarding our second and third place men finishers, Kevin Amos from France and Daniel Grassel from Italy. To be honest, I don't really know fully what it's all about, but it's not good. I know that. But the fact that they came out here and just killed it pretty much and did very well, getting medals, both of them likely onto the Grand Prix final, it's just crazy to me. The drama in figure skating never stops. And even though the drama is fun, it's interesting, I don't want drama if it's at the expense of human life, in people's day-to-day existences. I know there's some bad things that happen in both of their careers and some kind of murky situations. Again, I'm not going to get into it, but just interesting that there's just that drama there attached to them. Do the Japanese men have any drama? I think the most drama was, Shoma Uno. There were reports a few years ago that he was playing video games too much. I feel like the Japanese men stick to skating. They're very focused. And even though they're very up and down too, they're not as consistent as the Japanese women. You don't hear about this type of controversy. So just kind of, food for thought, so to speak. In pairs, I really appreciated Ghilardi and Ambrosini. I read recently that their short program was a commentary on the worldwide issue of violence against women, which is so prevalent and not just in figure skating, but across sport and obviously across the world. Sadly, we live in a world where that does happen a lot. I was happy here that they, stuck with their third place finish that they also got at Grand Prix de France. And so I think they are going to make it to the Grand Prix final. But again, we'll go over that in just a moment. I was so happy for Stellato and Deschamps to get a season best score in both the short program and in the overall score. They had a really strong short program, not really missing anything there, all positive grades of execution, so doing very, very well. They should be so proud and happy with that. They did mess up a bit on their side-by-side jumps in the long program, and their throw triple lutz got a negative grade of execution. So some things definitely to improve upon, and hopefully they will be looking forward to the Grand Prix final. I gotta say, ice dance has been kind of like the shocker of the season as well. I feel like there's a little more movement than past years. I feel like there's some reshuffling going around. There's, people trying to make some strides, especially the pre-Olympic year. In my opinion, the Olympic year, ice dance really kind of solidifies, and barring any major mistakes, it kind of seems like the placements are more or less known before the Olympics. So I think that the fact that there is some inconsistency with some of the top teams, especially Fear and Gibson only getting 203.22 here, and Gillis and Poirier having some mistakes as well, a few setbacks, getting, just barely breaking 200.79. So I think that's kind of interesting. These teams that are sticking out to me, though, is Turkila and Versluis, as well as Orihara and Pirinen from Finland. I'm excited about the state of Finnish ice dance right now. And it'll be really good to see how they progress as we get closer to the Olympic season. You guys, I'd really like to just press pause where we are in the season right now. I can't believe we're going to have our last event of the Grand Prix series next weekend. It has just flown by. We've seen some amazing skating. This time of year is always so bittersweet because, like I said, I want to press pause and just truly soak in all of the wonderful skating, the change of weather, the season, the holidays, just so much goes on at this time of year as we look forward to 2025. And I just wish that we could kind of redo the whole Grand Prix season. I mean, there's a lot that's gone on. I'm not saying I want to redo it necessarily, but I just really want to soak in and be so appreciative of these athletes who put so much on the line. I mean, it's so easy to sit here and commentate on what they're doing. And when I think about the sacrifice, the strategy, the money, the time, the energy that goes into doing what they do, even if they're not the top tier skaters, even just the top 10 at one of these competitions, they should be so proud of themselves. It's something they can take with them the rest of their lives, no matter what they do post-skating or if they stay in skating the rest of their time. And so, not to get all sappy, but just really I'll have some gratitude right now as I look forward to the rest of the season. Okay, let's go ahead and switch it up. Let's talk about who has made the Grand Prix finals so far and who has one more chance next weekend at Cup of China to rise up, and make it to the Grand Prix final. So as we talked about before, 6 skaters or teams from each discipline will make it to the Grand Prix final. The Grand Prix final is going to be happening this year, December 5 through 8 in Grenoble, France. So we are going back to France for the final. So I wanted to quickly recount where the medal counts stand as of now, just on a countrywide basis. Surprising absolutely no one. With the absence of Russia, Japan is definitely the top skating country. They have a total of 20 medals so far as we go into the Cup of China, 7 of which are gold, 8 are silver, and 5 are bronze. In second place, another powerhouse with 12 total medals is the US, 4 of which are gold. I think 2 of those are Ilya Malinin, 3 silvers, and 5 bronze. And then rounding out, I will just tell you 3rd through 5th, we have Canada with 5 medals, France with 4 medals, and Great Britain with 2 medals. So that's just the country standings. Those don't necessarily bear on the individuals or the pairs or teams who will be making the actual Grand Prix final. So how it works is that you are ranked certain points. If you get first place in singles or pairs or ice dance, you get 15 points. Second place is 13 points. Third place is 11 points, and so on down. The last place you'll actually get points is 8th place, gets you 3 points. Now, I had to look these rules up because there are 7 ways to break a tie. So, for example, the first way is your highest place at an event. So if you're a skater and you got 1st and 3rd, then the tiebreaker will be 2nd place. So if someone else got 2nd and 2nd, because you had a 1st, that's worth more than 2 silvers, if that makes sense. Another way is the highest combined total scores in both events. So if skater A gets 200 points and then 250 at the next event, that skater would win a second tiebreak over someone who got 200 at their first event, but only 150 at another. Another way is if you participated in 2 events. Not all skaters got to go to 2 Grand Prix, so that is another way to break the ties. Let's go ahead and start with the men. I want to go over who pretty much has cinched it and who is going to be going to the Grand Prix final and be one of those 6 men. In first place with 30 points, we have 2 skaters, Ilya Malinin and Yuma Kageyama. Next, for sure making it is Kevin Amos with a score of 26 points. And then, I did not have this one on my mood board before the season started. Daniel Grassel should be making it with a score of 24 points. Let's talk about the men who are on the brink. So they basically may be making it, but it's going to kind of depend on what happens next weekend. We have Andrew Torgashev from the US. He has 20 points. So he's right on the edge. I mean, he's fifth right now, but there are skaters who could knock him out. So for example, Adam Xiaohunfa has a score of 15 right now. He basically just needs to get about fifth place, so about 6 points, and he will for sure be going to the Grand Prix final. Another skater who has a shot at getting to the Grand Prix final, who we will see at Cup of China, is Shun Sato. If he gets at least fifth place, that'll get him to 20 points, so he would be tied with Andrew Torgashev. However, I think Andrew would win in a tiebreaker if we had to go there, so it's kind of between Andrew Torgashev and Shun Sato in that case, who would get to go. Nika Edgadze and Mikhail Shaidarov also have a chance this next coming weekend. However, they would basically need to win their event in order to get them enough points because they both have 9 points currently. If either one of them got third place, they would get 11 points. So that would take them up to 20, again tying with Andrew Torgashev. However, Andrew did get a third and a fourth place, I believe. And if he had a higher overall score, he may win the tiebreaker in that case. Someone who's out altogether because they didn't finish the Grand Prix was Junhwa Cha from South Korea. So sad he had to drop out of the free program in Finlandia Trophy. We're just hoping all the best for him, and I hope he comes back very strong. We're also going to see Denis Vasilyevs at next week's event. He's currently got 7 points, so if he were to get at least second place, he would move up to 20 points. Again with Andrew Torgashev, but again, he may lose in a tiebreaker, so basically he's got to win to really have a shot at the Grand Prix final. Let's go ahead and talk about the women next. Oh my gosh, you guys, this could be a Grand Prix with all Japanese or 5 Japanese women skaters. And I'm kind of shocked, to be honest, that no one else has really challenged them. So let's get right into it. You know, the most obvious first place finisher, 30 points, is Kiori Sakamoto. In second place with 28 points, we have Wakaba Higuchi. So proud of her, so happy for her. I would love for her to win the Grand Prix final. I'm just putting it out there. Come on, world. Come on, universe. Let's get Wakaba there. And then in third place, 2 different skaters, both with 26 points, making it to the finale, is Hana Yoshida and Rino Matsuke. Both of them have had an amazing season. I think Rino Matsuke probably had the free skate of the Grand Prix series so far. I mean, that was just, she made like a moment for herself, and I am so happy for her. There are 3 Japanese women performing at the Cup of China next weekend, and all 3 could potentially make the Grand Prix final. We have Mone Chiba, Rion Sumoyoshi, and Rinka Watanabe. Mone and Rinka probably have the best shot. They both have 13 points currently. They could both potentially get anywhere in the top 4, and they could both make it, kind of depending on their biggest challenger, which is Amber Glenn with 15 points. Amber basically just has to get probably top 4, and she would also make the Grand Prix final, so having a really great shot here. My hope for Amber is she doesn't psych herself out and doesn't feel any pressure whatsoever to make the finale. I hope she just goes out and kills it, just pretends that it's any other competition, which it really is, and, make her way to the Grand Prix final. I don't think she's ever gotten there before, so this is truly a breakout season for her. So very proud of what she's doing. We have 2 Korean women making their way to Cup of China. We have Kim Chae-yeon and Kim Min-chae. So currently in the standings, Chae-yeon has 9 points, and Kim Min-chae doesn't have any points to my knowledge. So even though Min-chae, doesn't have a chance to make the Grand Prix final, because even if she would win, she would still be below Laura Naki-Gutman, who has 16 points, and Sarah Everhart, who has 16 points. And a first place finish only gets you 15 points. So hoping she still has a good competition just to be there for herself. Kim Chae-yeon is probably going to need a top 3 finish to really have a shot at making it, just because of the strength of the Japanese women. Technically, if she got 4th and both Japanese women placed lower than her, she would make it with 18 points, but I don't think that's very likely. So she's really going to be needing like a top 2 finish to really have a shot at that finale. Who are you shocked to see on the list, if anyone? Who do you wish had had a chance? Let me know in the comments below. All right, let's go ahead and move on to pairs. So definitely booking their ticket is Diana Stellato-Dudek and Maxime Deschamps. They have 30 points, winning both their events. In second place, also definitely making it, we have Mura and Kihara getting a gold and silver. And then in third place, we have 2 teams tied with 24 points, Metalkina and Barulava from Georgia and Cam and O'Shea from the US. A team that I do expect to do enough at Cup of China to make it is Germany's Haza and Volodin. They have 15 points right now, and to get up to where they need to be, they really just have to place probably in the top 5 or so. So they don't have to do too much, just go out and do normal, and they should comfortably book their ticket to Grenoble. Conti and Machi from Italy are looking to build on their 13 points. They probably want to best Ghilardi and Ambrosini, who have 22 points for their 2 competitions. So in order to do that, they'll likely want to get into the top 3 here, and I do think that is very doable for them. Last but certainly not least, probably most dramatically, let's talk about ice dance. So the top place finishers this season are Fear and Gibson with 30 points, winning both of their events, but again, not doing so well in their most recent competition in Finlandia Trophy. But thank goodness how well you do is all relative, since they still came out on top. Also booking their ticket to the Grand Prix final, no surprise here, we have married couple Chalk and Bates from the US with 28 points, as well as Gillis and Poirier from Canada with 28 points as well. I don't think there's any chance that our next couple, Lopareva and Brassard, wouldn't make it as well. They have 26 points. With 20 points, we have Reed and Ambrou-Levicius. Lajoie and Lagha from Canada currently have 13 points and will be at Cup of China. So if they were to get top 3, third place would give them 11 points, and they would thereby overtake Reed and Ambrou-Levicius. If Turkila and Versluis from Finland were to get third place again, like they did at Finlandia Trophy, they would have 22 points and would surpass Reed and Ambrou-Levicius, so they should book their ticket. However, we are going to have 2 American teams, Carrera and Ponomarenko, who currently have 13 points, as well as Green and Parsons, who have 9 points, who will be looking to build and possibly knock, them out of contention. Like Green and Parsons, Davis and Smolkin from Georgia, which is Terry's daughter, Diana Davis, they have 9 points as well. If they were to win here, they should do enough to book it to the Grand Prix final. However, there are other teams that I think are just getting scored higher. We also have Smart and Deke with 11 points. Oh, would I love for them to make it to the Grand Prix final. If they got 4th, they would have 20 points and they'd be tied with Reed and Ambrou-Levicius. But I don't know that they'd win a tiebreaker if we were to get, because I do think that Carrera and Ponomarenko with 13 points, if they were to get at least 4th, they're going to have enough points to make it to the finale. So, it's going to be a nail biter to see who makes it and who doesn't. Of course, some teams are going to be disappointed, but they should be proud they're even, close to having enough to get there. So that is going to be exciting. All right, guys, let's move on to the last competition in the Grand Prix series before the finale. It's Cup of China. It's going to be held in Chongqing, China from November 22 to 24. We talked about already a lot of the pairs and singles who will be able to make it to the Grand Prix final, but let's also talk about the other skaters who probably don't have a shot, but it will still be nice to see them in what will be another competition before the nationals competitions. From Canada, we're going to see Wesley Chu, and then we have 3 Chinese men, Chen Yudong, Jin Boyang, and Dai Daiwei. Jin Boyang is such a fan favorite. He did not have a good showing at Grand Prix de France, where he won the short program with a massive score of 88.12, but got 11th in the free program and 8th overall. So I don't think he has any chance of making the final, but will be nice to see him here and hoping that he can just kind of build upon what had happened at the last event and just show the haters a little bit of gas. We have Nika Edgadze from Georgia coming here as well. We have 2 Italian men, Nicolai Mimola and Matteo Rizzo. Matteo has 7 points right now. If he were to win the event, he could probably technically make the Grand Prix final. And Nicolai Mimola has 5 points, so probably an outside shot at this point to make any kind of bid towards the finale. We're also going to be seeing from South Korea, Kim Hyun-gyum, so that'll be fun to see. In women, we're going to have Maddie Schizas from Canada. And then 3 Chinese women, An Jiangyi, Chen Hyungyi, and Zhu Yi. From Georgia, one skater that I really enjoy watching is Anastasia Gubanova. We're also going to have Kimi Rapond from Switzerland and see her beautiful dresses and costumes. In pairs, we're going to have a Canadian team of Pereira and Michaud. We're going to have a Chinese team, Yu Chen and Li. We're also going to have a French team, Kovalev and Kobalev. From the Philippines, we'll be seeing Gamez and Korovin. From Poland, Chechenina and Wozniak. And finally, from the U.S., Katie McBeath and Daniel Parkman. In ice dance, we'll have 2 Chinese teams of Ren Junfei, Jing Jianing, as well as Zhao Zixi and He Lingyao. All right, you guys, that's it for now. We've reached a major milestone in the season. We have just one more Grand Prix left, and by this time next week, we will have the final list of who's making that Grand Prix finale. Thank you so much for listening. As always, over and out, this is Kelly Commentates.